Hey game designers, in this video we're going to talk about how to make the arms for the male model. Let's go ahead and check some of our settings. Make sure when we start our video, I think we're actually going to go turn on symmetry to object X so that we can not repeat our work on both sides of the arm. So let's go ahead and start making the arm. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to decide where the arm socket will be. So I'm going to go and go to face select here and look at some of the faces that we are working with. Now sometimes Maya will do this where you won't be able to select on the right face. So it looks like the arm socket is best using these four squares. These four squares right here. Just kind of judging by... Actually, I can probably make it a little bit lower. Yeah, I'm probably going to make it a little bit lower. Okay, so I'm going to use these four squares, and I'll probably move the socket up a little bit. Okay, so just like the Homer example, we're going to actually go to vertex mode, and we're going to go ahead and select these 9 points that make up those four squares. I'm using shift left click right now to select these 9 points, and I'm going to go to edit mesh, and I'm going to go circularize. Try to create this round circle here, and I don't know why sometimes it does this, but this is happening to some of our students as well, is that after you circularize it doesn't select the points. So we're just going to go ahead and select the same points back again, and we're going to use E to rotate it back so that it's nice and upright. Okay, so we have all our meshes back here, and the next thing we're going to do is actually make it nice and vertical. You can see that these 9 points are not aligned. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually click on the individuals, the select mode, the individual points, and use the move tool. And with combination of our toolkit, we can actually get these arms nice and flat and flush. So it looks like the X coordinate right now is 1.97. I'm going to go and make it a nice round number like 2. And I'm going to go ahead and select these and start working my way clockwise. And yes, you can't do this with multi-select, unfortunately. Like I can't select all of them and then move them to 2. But I can start doing it one by one here. And you can go ahead and use the front view here. Oops, not 1, 2. You can start seeing that these poles are going to be nice and straight. Okay, so I'm going to grab these. Grab that to 2 as well. Grab that. Make it 2. Grab this point. I think I have only 2 more. That to 2 and that to 2. Okay. So now we got these arm sockets that are nice and flush. So now, if I want to go and click on the faces. So click on this face, and this face. If I extrude it, let's go ahead and practice. I'm going to use, since I have the move tool on already, I'm just going to hold shift, and I'm just going to, oops, I'm going to pull out these faces using the move tool. I'm using shift to extrude. It's extruding the whole body, which is weird because I only have these 4 faces selected. Let's go ahead and use extrude then, Control E, and go ahead and extrude this way. So I use Control E instead, and that works. So I'm extruding the arms, and the arms are getting nice and vertical here. So before we start actually making the arms, what I'm going to do is actually get the arms I'm going to move my reference so that the arm is nice and out, so that I can kind of see where I'm extruding and how I want to extrude. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just go to select tool, and I'm going to go into my group settings right here and look at NURB surface 1. This is the right arm or the front face of my reference, and I'm going to actually I think I'm just going to make a whole copy of it, so I don't have to worry about messing with my original ones. So I'm going to go to group 1 here, and Let's see if I can duplicate it. So I can. So I have now a model 2. So I'm going to go to the first one and go ahead and hide it. I'm going to go to the second one, and I'm going to go to the nerve plane 1, which is the first reference here. And I'm going to see if I can rotate this thing. So I want to rotate it this way. And I'm going to use the move tool, which is W, and see if I can get the arm kind of out where I want to reference it. Okay. And actually, I'm going to Control Z a few times before I do that, because actually I want to do this to both the nerve plane 2 and nerve plane 1 and 2, because that's the front and the back. So I'm going to go ahead and use the rotate tool, E, and I'm going to rotate it. I'm going to use W, and I'm going to move it out a little bit here. And now I have a nice reference for the arms. Okay, let's go ahead and click on our torso here and use F to frame it, our cylinder here, and F to frame it. And let's see if I like where these two are at. Let's see, that looks, I'll move it a little bit more down just to get a really good, definition here. Okay, that looks good. Maybe a little bit more left. Okay, there we go. So now we have a nice reference to work with. So I'm going to go back and click on my 4 faces that I had selected before, and I controlled E once to kind of create the first part of the shoulder blade. Remember, the rule of thumb is, I'm going to use Control E now, is to extrude 2 sections for the shoulders and at least 1 section for the bicep. So this bicep has a lot of definition here, but it doesn't look like I need to use too many sections. So I'm just going to try making maybe, let's go 3 sections for this bicep section and tricep section. So I'm going to go ahead and extrude again. So I'm going to decide to make this bicep with more definitions. So I'm just going to extrude 3 times. Let's go 1 right about there, 2 right about there, and 3 right about here. Okay. Now I'm at the elbow now, and I'm going to go ahead and make 2 small sections for the elbow. 1 right there, 1 right there. Now this forearm seems to have, pretty big, forearm. So it looks like I'm gonna go 1 section to kind of go down, 1 section to go flat, and maybe 2 sections to go down. So I'm gonna decide to make it 4. So here's the first section, 1 to kind of go up here, and then maybe 1 to go kind of flat right here, and kind of 1 to taper in right there, and 1 to go down to the wrist. Oh, I'm gonna do that. Zoom out a little bit here. Continue my extruding. So I'm gonna extrude down to the wrist right here, and the wrist is 2 small sections. 1 right here, and 1 more for the wrist. Oh, I lost Control Z, and let's see if I'm extruding. That's the wrist. Okay. Okay. So now that we got the arm socket, we got all the edge rings that we want. Let's go ahead and start modeling each individual edge ring. So let's start kind of this way here, and I'm going to go to edge mode, and I'm going to click on the first edge ring. If you double click the edge ring, it'll click the entire edge. If you double click on one edge, it'll click the entire edge ring. We're going to use the Art tool and scale it down. So it looks like it's biceps up here already. Let's see. So it looks like its arms are somewhere right about there. And we can always fix this later if we want. If you want to do some soft movement, we can do that as well. So I want to just do the rough scaling right now. So it looks like I'm going to stop right about here, and I can bump up the shoulder a little bit. I'm gonna go back to this edge ring. Maybe I made this edge ring a little bit too big, because it's better to be small than big, because we can always push it up later and add definition and whatnot. So I'm gonna go to this edge ring and kind of move it down, try to get it centered. It looks about good there. Again, I'm more worried about being smaller than bigger, because I can always pump up the parts that I need using a soft select. So it looks like there's his forearm. I can stop right there. I can add a little more definition there. I'm probably moving on to the elbow now. So it looks like right about there. And I'm going to go again, grab this entire edge ring here. And I'm going to stop there. It looks like I'm going to have to kind of move that side up a little bit there. Click on this edge ring now. Stop right about there. Stop a little bit right there. And I might need to rotate my reference to kind of get it nice and square. Okay, so this edge ring looks like it stops right about there. Yeah, it looks like my edge rings are not perfectly vertical. So we can go ahead and I'm going to go back and change the nerve plane 1 and nerve plane 2, and then rotate it just a little bit more and get it just accurately kind of square with the arms here. That looks good. And I'm going to move it a little bit down. There we go. That looks a little bit better. It gives me a better indication of where I'm at. So I'm going to go back to my cylinder here. So it looks like I can make a couple of these edge rings a little bit bigger. I can obviously make this edge ring bigger. So let's go to this edge ring first. What's going on here? I don't know why this edge ring is not affecting both sides. That is weird. So I guess this is a good opportunity to talk about what happens when you've maybe created an extra edge loop or extruded an extra time. It looks like I did that here, where I probably created an extra edge loop that I didn't want to. So I'm just going to go right, I'm going to start kind of right here and delete this. And I'm going to see what's going on here. So it looks like using my perspective view that I have an extra face out in the middle of nowhere. So you can see here I have an extra face out here. So I'm going to go ahead and use my select tool. Delete that. Okay. And looks like I have something here. Control delete. Okay, or not. Go to the face tool. Click on this face here. And delete that. Come on, delete. Okay, you might need to use Control Delete to delete extra faces. So hopefully you didn't make this mistake that I did. I probably made an extra extrusion somewhere. So I'm going to still look up. Looks like I still have one face out here. So I have this right here and control that. Okay, and I'm going to go back here. Now I'm going to go back and look at my arm hole. So I'll go maybe to this side and see what's going on here. Yeah, it looks like I created, I don't know what I created here. Okay, I'm going to delete this. Okay, and looks like I got back my symmetry. So I'm just going to go and take these vertices and create a new one, or bridge them. Usually you probably need a point in the middle though. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take these points here and these vertices here, and I'm just going to merge to center. And then I'm going to take this point and move it back into the armhole here. Get it nice and flush with the other ones. Hopefully I got that. It looks like it's 4.9. So I'm going to click on the center one here and change my to 4.9 so I'm nice and vertical again. Okay, so this is kind of I guess a video or a quick lesson on how to fix your geometry if you end up screwing it up like I did and adding an extra extrusion. So I'm going to go back and go ahead and click on face tool again, and I'm going to click on these 8 faces, and I'm going to continue to extrude again. So right here, I think I had 3 sections for the bicep. This was the elbow. This was the forearm. I think I decided to make 2 more sections. So I'm going to use Control E to extrude, and I'm going to extrude out 1 section right here, 1 section all the way to the wrist, 2 small sections for the wrist like so, and there we have it. Okay, so now that I have my arm a little bit more better for reference, I can go back and again click on edge and just click on these edge loops and use the R tool to kind of scale them up the way that I want, to kind of reach where I want to get that definition. So I'm going to click on this edge loop here, scale it up like so, and I'm going to click on this bicep, scale it up, scale it just like that or so. And you can even decide you want to move the edge ring, so I can kind of move this edge ring kind of more centered to his arm, right? And then decide to scale it up a little bit like that. I'm going to go in here and click on this edge ring right here, scale it up a little bit, and it looks pretty centered there. This one I can scale, that was about right. Maybe move it down a little bit here, move the edge ring down, scale it up a little bit. Click on the next edge ring, scale it up. Okay, I'm going to click on this edge ring, which is the part of its forearm here. Click on this edge ring, maybe I'm going to move it down a little bit, get it nice and centered. Then use the R tool to scale it up. Nice bicep right there. Click on this edge ring, kind of bring it down a little bit. Maybe move it down a tad bit. Yep. And I'm going to go back and work on the wrist. So I definitely need to scale down. So to scale down quite a bit here. And then that looks good. And click on the next edge ring. Scale that down to his wrist. And click on the last edge ring. And scale that down to make a nice wrist. Okay? So, so this is kind of his arm in this space. Let's go ahead and go ahead and use 3 to kind of go into smooth view. Sorry, that's 5. 3. Okay, so we got it in smooth view right now, and you can see that's not quite the way we want it. So at this point, you can go ahead and go use the move tool, or I'm sorry, the vertex mode, and using selecting some points here. So let's go ahead and use our select tool, and go ahead and grab some of these points, and use B to kind of, affect the area that you want to move. And we're going to use the W tool and go ahead and move it down a little bit here, get some of that definition on the forearm. So grab that down a little bit right there, maybe grab this part, see if I can grab the entire bicep there, give it a little definition right there. Let's see, we can go to the back of we can go ahead and go to the back of this. So I'm going to hold the Alt tool and kind of go to the back side of this arm. Okay, and maybe go down real close, kind of look at the back and see what I'm missing here. So I'm going to look like I'm going to grab this point up here and pull up a little bit. And I can look like I'm going to pull a little bit up on the shoulder. Pull up a little bit on the shoulder. Get a little bit definition right there, and maybe I'm missing a little bit right there. Pull up that a little bit more. Okay, and now we have some definition there on his arms. Maybe a little bit more up here. Get that nice and smooth. Maybe a little bit on this elbow here. And again, this is not to tell you what you have to do to model your male. I'm just kind of giving you tips and tools on how to get these arms nice in definition. And that does it for our video for arms. So If you're done with the arms and you don't want to use this reference anymore, we can just go ahead and go to group number 2 that we created and go ahead and hit H and hide that and bring back our group number 1 and re-hide that. And now we have our definition of our arms. Okay? And that will do it for our video. Okay? So let's go back, click our views.